Yeah, boy.
The prize piece comes to join. I need more mana.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another build guide. Because the league is coming to an end and most of you guys also stopped playing, I also stopped playing these days. I am playing other games or just chilling. So these are gonna be the final guides that I played maybe a couple of weeks ago even, because I sometimes don't upload a video as soon as possible because maybe it is not that attracting, something, maybe a different minion build or a meme build. I sometimes don't upload those builds as soon as possible. That's why these are gonna be those final builds that I played before quitting the league. I obviously will upload more before the final week, you know, happens, before the patch notes, and maybe even upload more before the league even comes. I'm not sure, maybe. If you want any league starter builds from me, just make sure that you are in my Discord and make a suggestion maybe, because right now I have 3 builds, all content and different play styles. One of the builds are gonna be a melee build, one is gonna be an archer build, and the third one is gonna be a miner build actually. So I will just upload 3 different solid builds in the final week before 3.16 comes. So if you want any different build other than these 3, you know, a melee, an archer, and a miner build, make sure you make a suggestion in my Discord. Maybe I will try to shoot a 4th video. So those videos are gonna be, those guys are gonna be all content builds. Some of them can be league starter, some of them are gonna be low budget. So you can just focus on playing that after you farm some decent currency. So they are gonna be builds that can do everything and ridiculously powerful. So that's why I am saving those builds for the final moments. So yeah, these other builds that you are gonna watch these days are gonna be the final ones that I played. If you like these builds, you can just play them in the next league, because you are probably not playing right now anyways. So today's build is Absolution Necromancer. So we are gonna do this in Path of Building. I just wanted to shoot the video fast so I can upload everything. I'm not gonna do much editing in these final videos, but obviously those 3 top tier all content builds are gonna be more detailed. So stay tuned for those. So Absolution is a new skill that has been introduced in 3.15. It was just shit at league start. Most people tried that, and also some people in my Discord also tried it. No one could actually make it work. So that's why I just waited, because I actually tried to do most of the new skills, you know, play them, make viable versions of those new skills in 3.15. So that's why Absolution also was one of them. That's why I wanted to try it. So right now, with some investment, not super crazy investment, we are gonna check all the gear. As you can see, some of the pieces are actually uniques that are not even expensive. So you just want to spend some on the maybe cluster jewels, but they are not super expensive. Something like 1 Exile right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we also use a bow, which is like 20-25 Exile. That's the most expensive piece. And the gems and all of that. The build was around, I believe, 50 or maybe 60 Exalt, but I am not really sure. Maybe it is cheaper. So in the end, not super expensive. But I'm not sure if this is better for the investment compared to other minion builds like the popular ones, Spectre, which I am not even playing because I hate those kind of builds. So this requires an active play style because you actually need to hit the target. That's why I try to do this kind of minion builds sometimes. Something like Dominating Blow. So let's just start. So Absolution is a spell that you also need to attack first, and you actually summon the minions. It's like Dominating Blows spell version. You can summon 3 sentinels, which all deal elemental, physical to convert lightning, let's say. So the minions are actually like physical spell minions, but 50% of the physical is actually converted to lightning damage. And we are also using physical to lightning support gem on this main setup. So the main minions are actually lightning minions, so we want to focus on lightning damage. And obviously this is a minion build, so gem level also helps. That's why we are gonna focus on those in our weapon. Also using empower, obviously. So right now my Absolution is 31 levels, so you want a high gem level. So you just want to spam your Absolution before entering a boss, and you also need to hit the target. That's why once the boss fight starts, you actually need some time to proc, you know, all the minions. And we are also using Summon Phantasm linked to these guys. You can have up to 11 Summon Phantasms, because 3 Absolutions are not enough to kill bosses. This is our main setup, so we don't have any other damage dealing minions. We obviously have some zombies for some Feeding Frenzy support, those kind of stuff, but they are not dealing that much damage. Also an Animated Guardian to boost our character. We are going to check those later on. We also have some Spectre setup, which are going to be monkeys, so we are going to check those later on, obviously. In this part I'm gonna show you what Animate Guardian I use and also what monkeys, Spectres that I use, but they are obviously monkeys. So there are gonna be clips on the screen, just check also that. So for the, where's that, race Spectres, I picked Host Chieftain and Carnage Chieftain because they actually generate power and frenzy charges for our minions, which is very good for more DPS. But sometimes they just die because unfortunately monkey Spectres are not very tanky. So if they die, just respawn them, resummon them. So here is a good thing. If you are in a map, the monkey died or whatever, once you go out of the map, if you use Desecrate to just spawn corpses in your own hideout, because normally hideouts doesn't have any monsters, in those. That's why you actually get the monkeys' corpses immediately. So after a map, if any of your chieftains, Host Chieftain, Carnage Chieftain, those monkeys, if they died, just use a couple of Desecrates and bam, you can just find them as easily in your own hideout with no effort. You don't even need to go back to the original map, alright? They are normally in Act 7, I believe, just watch the clip, in Ashen Fields. So make sure that you spawn them, originally get them here in that map by using Desecrate, obviously, on the ground. And later on you can just resummon them if they die after a map, alright, in your own hideout. Make sure you use life tap support on these guys, otherwise they actually run out of mana and sometimes cannot cast their war cry, so you can your minions can actually miss those charges. So a life tap is very important. And for the Animate Guardian setup, just check the items that I am using in the video, but the popular ones are obviously Grutkel's Pelt for some life and regeneration for our Animate Guardian, so it doesn't die easily, let's say. A Kingsmaker, obviously, for that Fortify and Culling Strike, and some other cheap uniques to boost our minions and maybe even us. So just check them on the screen. I'm not gonna even explain the other items. If you notice that your Animate Guardian have maybe low health in a map, sometimes you should check the upper corner of your screen and check if your minions are fine. Because if Animate Guardian dies, every item that it actually equips, are just gonna get destroyed. So make sure that your Animate Guardian doesn't die. If you notice that it has a low health for some reason, just log out, alright? It actually happened once in a formed map. The Phoenix used his... Phoenix is a dude, by the way, right? I'm not even sure. Let's say Phoenix, because Hydra is a woman, yeah? But I'm not right now sure about Phoenix. Maybe Phoenix is also a woman, I'm not sure. So let's say Phoenix used its ability, whatever. And my Animate Guardian actually went kaboom, alright? He has like half HP for some reason, and I immediately logged out. Sometimes, it can just get hit by something ridiculous. Most of the times, your Animate Guardian will have more than 90% health. It is actually a very tanky minion with this setup. But in those tough boss fights, sometimes shit happens. So make sure that you have an eye on your Animate Guardian's life pool, alright? So these are not total, let's say, aren't dealing that much of a damage. That's why we also want to boost Absolution with Summon Phantasms. So at this segment here, you can actually check the Absolution DPS, and also, by the way, I'm not sure if this DPS is correct or not, because it's a new skill, maybe it is even wrong, I'm not sure. And also we have 11 Phantasms, which also deals some decent amount. So without these, you cannot kill any boss. Actually, Absolution are not enough, alright? That's why you also need Summon Phantasms. Because these both spells, skills, let's say, are both spell and projectile, range, whatever. We also use faster casting and Awaken spell echo. Obviously, you can start with normal spell echo. Awaken is just a more powerful version because it has double damage chance. A final repeat of supported skill has 25% chance to deal double damage. So that's why in the end we have both absolutions, 3 absolutions plus 11 phantasms, and also zombies, whatever. So we have lots of different damage dealing minions, but obviously the absolutions and the phantasms are the main damage dealers. So we are gonna focus on those. So let's talk about the build's mechanics now. I can maybe finish the rest of the gems later on and maybe explain them when the time comes while explaining some items. So the main item, the core item that we want to build around is a Doryani's prototype chest piece. So this actually says, let's just read the final sentence. Nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. So that means that if I have a negative lightning resistance, the monsters are also gonna have that resist. If I have, let's say, 50 lightning resistances, nearby monsters will also have 50. If I have negative 150, the monsters are also gonna have negative 150. So the lower the resist, the higher the DPS. That's why we want to use Thread of Hope jewels with the minimum roll. That's why they are gonna be cheaper. You can also get minus 19, 18 if you cannot afford or find minus 20s. Because maybe most people don't even sell these because they are lowest roll, you know. These are like very cheap versions. That's why some of the items are actually very cheap. So we want to use lots of Thread of Hope, so I can have minus 170. This is my resist. Maybe you can even go for more, maybe a little lower. We also use Venter Gamble rings that have positive fire and cold because we want to keep those resistances but minus lightning resist, because we don't need that. So you are gonna say, how are we gonna survive? Aren't we gonna get one-shotted or whatever? That's why we are using an amulet. This is actually a talisman, so that's why it's gonna be corrupted all the time with the implicit lightning damage from hits taken as fire or cold. There are actually two versions. You can buy any of those. Just type for lightning damage from hits taken as fire or cold. Just buy whatever you can find. The other good stats are obviously life, cold or fire resist, maybe if you still need, and maybe dexterity, because this character actually needs a lot of dexterity. But you can also get maybe dexterity nodes on the talent tree, put it on your jewels, whatever. You can also put dexterity on your boots, by the way. I couldn't talk. We have just a little bit rare piece, that's why it is maybe a little hard to keep your dexterity if you don't get it on your amulet. So make sure one of your rare piece actually have some dexterity. These are the stats that you want on your amulet. So a lightning damage from hits taken as fire or cold. You are gonna say what about the final 50%. That's where we want to use a glorious vanity jewel with Shibakua. Alright, you need to search for that. That's how you can actually convert any keystone in the radius. We are using it here. This is normally agnostic, but with Shibakua glorious vanity, it is right now divine flesh. 50% of elemental damage taken as chaos. So this actually converts the rest of that 50% taken as chaos, and plus 5 max chaos resistances. So we also want to keep our chaos resistances. So in the end you want to keep your fire, cold and chaos resistances. So half of the lightning damage is gonna be taken from fire or cold depending on your talisman, and the other half is gonna get taken from chaos damage. But one big note, this talismans actually says hits taken, from hits taken, alright? It says hits. It doesn't say taken, alright? It also says hits. So that's why this actually means that degeneration effects do not count. So most people don't even know this. But as you noticed, Divine Flesh actually says damage taken. It doesn't say hits, alright? So this actually applies to all kind of damage over time, hits, alright? So it applies for both of them. But the talisman's conversion is only from hits. That's why we actually still take 50% lightning damage from non-hits. So you're gonna say, are there any damage over time lightning effects in the game? Because lightning's ailment is shock, it doesn't even apply any degeneration effect. There is actually one thing that's the only damage that I know, is the Shaper's laser. So if you just get hit by Shaper's laser, you need to be very fast because you're gonna just die in a second maybe. So that's why, because the Shaper's laser is not a is not hit, it's a degen effect. So be careful. Maybe this character is not good for Shaper and Uber Elder farm. You might die. You need to be very fast and you need to keep your eye on Shaper, alright? So that's gonna be dangerous. But other than that, as far as I know, there is nothing, you know, there isn't any other lightning degeneration effect as far as I know. So you are gonna be fine. So let's just finish the rest of the items because this is the core stuff. So you just want to have minus resist. So for the weapon, we obviously want lots of gem level. If you can afford a synthesized base with +1 support gems, they are going to be more expensive. If you cannot afford just a regular bow, make sure you get a bow that you can actually use, because some bows actually require a lot of dexterity. So make sure that you have enough dexterity so you don't have to get more from your items. So pick a base depending on that. After that, you want to use the minion essence. It is essence of fear, until you get +1 socketed gems, which is not gonna be that hard because it +1 gems actually have a higher weighting. So with only like a couple of tries, maybe like 10 tries, 15 tries at most, you can just get it if you are not unlucky. After that, just use annulment orbs, those kind of stuff, so you can just remove the unnecessary, you know, unwanted stats. And finally, craft can have up to 3 crafted modifiers and +2 support gems and minion attack cast speed. So you can maybe just start with the worst bow, you know, no synthesize. You will just maybe lose a little bit DPS. So you can just try the build if you want, but you have to craft or buy this bow. This is the only hard piece and also the most expensive piece. If you just want to buy this as a synthesized, they are like 20-25 Exalt. I'm not sure if people even craft this on a worse bow, so you might want to craft it yourself for a lower budget maybe. So that's pretty much it about the bow. Obviously the colors are gonna be off colors because this is a spell minion build. You also want to go for TFT Discord and use maybe non-green to green, but those kind of, but obviously not green because this doesn't, we don't want any green. So we want 2 red, 4 blue. So just first of all use the crafting bench, use like at least 2 blue, 1 red, those kind of stuff, and try to get another maybe one of these colors. So make sure your weapon has at least 3 or 4 of colors first. Then go for TFT Discord and buy craft from other players. Non-blue to blue, non-red to red, those kind of crafts. So you can actually convert the rest of the unwanted colors to these colors and your bow is ready. The rest of the items, replica Maloney's mechanism, you don't need this because there are very few results every league. So you can just go for a rare quiver to cap your resistances, get some life. The base doesn't even matter. You can even get chaos resistances. So a rare quiver actually saves you a lot of resist and those kind of stuff. Why am I using this? It obviously have life, but the main purpose of this, trigger a socketed bow skill when you cast that spell with a 1 second cooldown. So we cast spell all the time because Absolution is a spell. So the thing that I want to trigger here is ensnaring arrow but divergent. If you don't have this or cannot find it for some reason, do not even use Maloney's mechanism, because ensnaring arrow normally is a projectile bow skill that reduces the enemy's movement speed, and also enemy takes increased damage from attack hits, those kind of stuff. So it is actually for attacks normally, but the divergent is actually for spell, which actually provides some decent amount of damage, because this is enemies take 10% damage. It is actually a more damage multiplier. This is like a Battle Fate flask actually. So a lot of DPS, definitely worth the investment. The quiver was like 1 exalt right now, but because there are like only 5 results all the time, if a couple of you guys want to do this build maybe in the next league or whatever, maybe you cannot even find this quiver later on. So if you can find the quiver, if you can find diverging ensnaring arrow, make sure that you use this quiver to get some good boss DPS. But if you want to play this build mainly for maybe mapping, you don't even need this. Just go for a rare quiver. I also have Assassin Mark here and Nemulus that also have another increased damage taken, which is another more multiplier. And finally Enhance to boost all these qualities. So additional one of the so even more percentage damage. As you can see here, 22% increased spell damage with Enhance. Normally it is 10%. So Enhance right now in this setup is simply broken. Provides maybe at least a couple of million DPS. So this is just for more boss DPS. But obviously Assassin Mark is a spell, so we actually cast this manually. We just want this so it can actually get attached with Enhanced. So the only thing that triggers here, gets triggered, is Ensnaring Arrow once we use any spell, which can be Absolution or Assassin Mark, because it is also a spell, so it gets triggered thanks to this quiver. Helmet, just use Essence until you get a good one with life and some resistances. If you get lightning resistance and a good helmet maybe, obviously use Harvest Craft, convert cold resist to, convert lightning resist to fire, convert lightning resist to cold, something like that. You can do that. So the stats that you want is reduce reservation, life, and resistances. So first of all, actually without this helmet, so right now I have this amount of mana left. I obviously have Charisma anointed, so let's see that how much mana we have. Yeah, we don't have anything. So you definitely need this craft. You need to craft this helmet on your own. Just use essences until you get that. Not that hard actually. For the enchant you can also get Rat Reserve Reduction for even more reduce. So we just want to have that reduced reservation so we can activate lots of auras. So now is the perfect time to check our auras so you can have a better understanding on what we are using and also what kind of helmet enchant that you can get, because you can actually get another enchant. Rat enchant isn't necessary. So because we have lots of reservation auras. So Purity of Fire and Ice, because we want higher fire and cold resistances, so our character can become tankier, and also we can cap these easier, as you can see, because we use lots of unique items. So it's gonna be a little hard to cap maybe, or just go for a rare quiver also. So we use 2 purities for those resistances. Zealotry, because this is spell build, it provides more spell damage. Rat, it provides lightning damage, spell lightning damage for our minions, because this is a lightning spell minion build. Red Banner is actually just for some survivability actually. Nearby enemies have less accuracy rating. So you can just skip this if you have a different helmet maybe with a different enchant, or let's just check if we can sustain our mana like this. Not really, yeah. You definitely need a reduced reservation on your helmet, so make sure that you use that essence. I probably put the picture on the screen. But you can actually skip the Red Banner if you want, because this doesn't provide any DPS at all. This is just for that nearby enemies have less accuracy rating. You can see that this actually provides some DPS from that. Where's that? Because we are playing a Necromancer, she has this auras from your skills grant attack speed. So this is also an aura. Red Banner, it has aura tag, as you can see. So check here, attack cast rate. This actually provides attack and cast speed for this build. That's why this provides DPS. Yeah, I figured it out right now. Because normally this is just for some defense. We are not using any impale because these are spell minions. So yeah, in the end you can skip the Red Banner if you want. But if you just want that additional cast speed and also that nearby enemies have less accuracy, you can also get this. But if you have some mana problems, just skip the Red Banner, alright? This is not that important. And finally we are using Generosity here, so we don't get these Rat and Zealotry. Generosity actually increases the effect of the non-curse auras, which are these. And you cannot actually get affected by those auras. It is not a problem because we are not the damage dealer here. We just want to boost those minions. So a Generosity attached to those. And if your cooldown is also ready, we are not using normal haste, by the way. I do not tick this because we don't have mana left. As you can see, this is another reservation skill. We are not using this. We just press wall haste if we have the cooldown ready. It actually provides huge attack and cast speed. You can see that a lot of DPS. Just also check these guys here. Huge DPS actually. So this is a big DPS cooldown. Combining with Generosity provides even more cast speed. So this is your buff setup. Also you want to use some Enlighten. I believe you can play with a 3 level. Yeah, you don't even need a 4 level, by the way, because I already had that. It is the end of the league. I have lots of stuff in my stash. That's why I just used it, but you can just go for a 3 level which is enough because we are playing with a mana flask anyway, so this is enough actually. So let's finish the rest of the pieces. Boots, just for life, resistances, and movement speed. This was like 20 chaos. You can see that some of my items are actually ridiculously cheap and not that crazy actually. So let's just explain this. So first of all, this doesn't work 100% I believe, because we want to wither and I'm not doing much stuff to wither the targets. So let's just read. Enemies take 4% increase elemental damage from your hits for each wither you have inflicted on them. Your hits cannot penetrate or ignore elemental resistances, which isn't even important because we are playing with Doryani prototype, which actually makes the target's resistances equal to ours, so that doesn't even work. So if we apply Wither, we can actually deal more elemental damage. So you want to check it here, Wither stacks. As you can see, it provides huge DPS, Wither stacks, but I am pretty sure that I don't have 15 stacks all the time. So how are we gonna stack Wither? So maybe I have like 10 stacks. Let's just write something like that. This is probably our real DPS because I am pretty sure that I am not applying 15. So first of all, because I don't have much space, you can obviously go for Wither totem setup. Maybe you can get rid of, I'm not sure, something. Really not sure what you can get rid of because we also have other minions to boost our character. So that's why if you can put it, just go for a Wither totem setup. So you can have that 15 stacks all the time. So something like this, multi-totems maybe. So this can actually help you to get those 15 stacks all the time at a boss fight, but I didn't do this. I used, where's that, Withering Step, Anomalous, which actually provides 2 additional Wither debuffs. So total, where's that, 8 Wither stacks. We also use Absolution, spamming it. That's why with 23%, I believe it goes up to 25%. I can actually also apply Wither. So if I can proc those. So at a boss, just press Withering Steps, Withering Step with Anomalous obviously. So you can have that 8 stacks immediately. And if you are lucky, you can get more stacks while spamming Absolution. Make sure you press Withering Step again when it is off cooldown. So we probably have like 8 or 10 stacks most of the times. So definitely not 15 as far as I know. Because it is hard to proc the rest with just 24% chance. Where's that? The gloves, yeah. So this obviously provides lots of DPS. You can maybe skip this gloves because this actually doesn't even do anything in maps. But obviously provides huge DPS for bosses. So if you want to kill bosses with this character, make sure you use this and that Wither setup. And even maybe Wither Totem if you can do that somehow. And final items, we also mentioned these. Final item, Darkness Enthroned, just for some additional DPS because these have 2 Abyss sockets and also increased effect of socketed jewels. We are always using minion jewels and also some life. So minion damage, if you have dealt, where is that? If you have used a minion skill recently, we are spamming minion skill all the time. That's why this is the best thing that you can get. If you still need resistances, also try to put those. Life, minion damage if you have used a minion skill recently. Minion deal lightning damage, that's also good. And maybe blind or taunt. So I actually used 1 blind jewel and 1 taunt jewel. It is somewhere here, yeah. So our minions can also taunt and blind, which is obviously good for more defense. So try to also get one of those at least. Life, minion damage if you have used a minion skill recently. So these are your rare jewels. Let's just explain rest of the jewels on the talent tree. Check the Thread of Hopes and that's gonna be it. So Thread of Hope here, medium ring. We just pick some life, some minion notable here, movement speed, attack damage. So we just want to use a lot of those. If you have problems with your resistances, you can actually maybe skip 1 Thread of Hope, alright? That's not gonna be the end of the world. So this one is important, a medium one here, so we can get Enduring Bound. Phantasms have 5% chance to refresh their duration when they hit a unique enemy. This is good for boss fights. So make sure that you get this. This is very important. I am not using anything else in this radius. A small one here for some minion resistances actually, so they don't die quick. You can maybe also skip this if you are a lower level, alright? And that is the only thing that we have here. If you have anything good in this actually, because this is actually right now a different notable, so it's gonna be different depending on your jewels number. Mine was shit, that's why I'm not using this. If you actually get something good here, alright, you can just check these here, but you obviously need to put the jewel in your character slot in the game and check what you got. So if you get something good, you can also just take this and make sure in the path of building right click here. Alright, right click on this and just check what you got. I'm not sure what we have. We actually have this one here, maximum chaos resist and chaos resist, which is very good. So you just check all of these, maybe try to get a better jewel, because mine was actually bad. That's why I'm not using this. But know that you can actually, if you have something good in this, make sure that you also get this notable here. Glorious Vanity Shibakua already explained. Take that Divine Flesh. Another Thread of Hope here with very large, so we can get some life and regeneration. And this is the final one, I believe. Another one, large. Minion damage. Minion damage also applies to us. Increase and reductions to minion damage also affect you. So we can actually also deal some damage with Absolution. As you can see, my damage just goes, up to triple the amount with this one. So I can actually also kill white monster packs easier. So I can just summon Absolutions in a fresh map easier. So this also helps with our damage, let's say. Some reserve reduction notes here. This is important to activate all our auras. And the life note here. So that pretty much sums all the Thread of Hopes. And finally some clusters which are not actually that crazy. You can just find these easier at any time. So only 2 passive, by the way. As you can see, I bought this for 1 Exile. Forgot to delete the tag. I just want to get some chaos resistances, so I can get these. I can get more chaos resist from these small passives. So these are very good way to get chaos resist for cheaper and easier. So for the notables, I picked Call to Slaughter, minion damage, and also minions created recently. So which works for Absolutions because we summon them always in new ones, let's say, because they have a duration. They are not like Spectres. They just die or vanish after some point. So you just spawn new ones. So if they just got spawned recently, they also have additional attack speed and movement speed, which is nice. And also Raise and Pillage, you can also maybe skip this, maybe only get Call to Slaughter, and even get more small ones here to keep your resistance, alright? So the most important one is probably this one, but this also provides a little bit DPS, because minions gain physical damage as extra fire, because Absolutions are minions that gets converted, their damage gets converted from physical to lightning. That's why they actually deal physical damage normally. That's why physical damage gained as whatever also works for these minions. As you can see, this also provides some decent DPS. And that's pretty much it. Raise and Pillage, Call to Slaughter, 8 passives, put some Chaos Resist, Fire Resist or Cold Resist, whatever you are missing, or even Dexterity. So you can get those stats in these small ones. Another one of these here. As you can see, this is actually a 12 passives with Chaos Resistances. This is how I kept my Chaos Resist. These are like 12 passives. No one buys this. You can see that it is actually 55 Chaos. I again forgot to delete tag. So dirt cheap jewels actually. Lots of Chaos Resistances. Again, Raise and Pillage. This time I picked Renewal. You can get more of these, by the way, because they have a double damage chance on full life, which is good for DPS if they don't get hit by something. So even more DPS. For the medium ones, Pure Guile, or however it is pronounced. So we can have reduced reservation on Purity of Ice, and also this helps with Dexterity, very nice. So we want those Purity of Ice and Fire to reserve less mana. That's why a Pure Guile with Pure Might, Purity of Fire. So this combination is not that expensive. Alright, just get 2 of these. Another one here. Again, same stuff. So we can actually reserve our mana easier. And let's check the other mediums, and finally a small one. I picked a Megalomaniac just to get some additional cold resist. And Born of Chaos. So maximum chaos resistances. You definitely don't need this. You can just skip this entirely, this Megalomaniac. But Born of Chaos is a good way to increase our defense. because most of the damage we take is actually from chaos damage. So having a even higher chaos resist actually helps a lot. And finally, another medium with a replenishing presence for some regeneration and non-curse aura effect. We actually need this non-curse aura effect. Otherwise, we don't have 81%. But right now we have actually. Maybe I just bought something wrong. Let's just check. But these actually also provide the same stuff. Yeah, actually without all these jewels we have 80% cold resist, as you can see. So with these effects we can go up to 81%. So maybe you can get another jewel in the end. Maybe you don't even need this. Replenishing presence. I'm just checking it again just to make sure why I bought this, because I made this build 2 weeks ago. I probably forgot something. Yeah, you can definitely get another medium one if you want. This was cheap, that's why I bought this. I'm not even using the uncompromising, as you can see, because I just wanted to get chaos resist and dexterity. So maybe in the end you can also search for chaos resist, dexterity, or whatever you have left, and get a jewel that works for your build. Because replenishing presence obviously have non-curse effect, non-curse aura effect, which applies for every aura that we use: red, zealotry, purities. So this actually provides DPS, as you can see. And try to use these small passives so you can keep all your chaos resist, dexterity, everything. So make sure you use these medium jewels to keep your missing stats. Yeah, that's pretty much it. For Watcher's Eye, you don't need this. This is just for some defense. You can get a Purity of Fire, physical damage taken from fire, or Purity of Ice, physical damage taken hits as cold damage. Or anything works for the other auras. But because we are not dealing damage, don't get anything with Zealotry or Red, because the Watcher's Eye obviously not gonna get applied to minions. So you probably want to get something with Purities for some extra defense. Or just skip this entirely and use another Gaslight jewel with similar stats, minion damage, if you have used a minion skill recently, life. And that's pretty much it. I forgot this jewel here, but it is very straightforward. We again need Born of Chaos for that maximum chaos resistance. And this is normally also a chaos resistance base jewel. That's why you can easily keep your chaos resistances with, while using these kind of jewels. I also get something with even more chaos resist. You can also use aberrant fossils if you want the chaos fossil and try to craft these on your own. So a small jewel with lots of chaos resist in the end, which actually provides huge chaos resistances. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and stay tuned for more builds. Again, if you have any league start recommendations, if I can find time before new league starts, because I already said that I have 3 solid all content builds coming before new league. So maybe I can also squeeze in more builds if I can find something interesting. And yeah, make sure that you maybe make your suggestions in my Discord. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.